Yeah. Elias, how are you today?
I'm well, actually. How are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you. I'm really excited to talk to you today on behalf of Fangirlish.com.
Thanks.
Yeah. So, Elias, you got to make Star Trek history by being the first unmasked Breen. How does it feel to make that history? And two, do you think we'll see more unmasked Breen in future iterations of Star Trek?
I hope they no, I hope they don't. I want to be the only one. Or bring me back if they're going to do that.
There you go.
Um, it was very look, that first day, when I was offered the role, I said yes immediately, and I knew I would be in prosthetics because I had already been on the show kind of in my own normal phase. And I went to do the plaster thing where they pour the plaster on you and you try not to have a panic attack. Um, and I asked for some concept art, and they showed me, and which turned out very different actually. But I said, "What race is he?" And they said a Breen. And being a giant Star Trek nerd, I was like, "Wait, the Breen don't take their helmets. Am I going to be the first Breen that takes the helmet off?" And then I started thinking exactly what you're saying, which is okay. Now I went from just being in Star Trek, which I'm already freaking out about in a good role, but now I'm making Star Trek history. And the first, I still remember being under all that, the plaster and just my mind racing going, oh, I'm going to get to buy like Star Trek technical manuals and I'm going to be the first Breen and like things like that. Like, oh, there's going to be magazines about the Breen and it's going to be me. That's so cool. Like so I was really, really yeah, excited to say the least.
That's so cool. That's so cool. I also obviously am a giant Star Trek nerd, so I'm excited for you.
Well, you live on the bridge with the Discovery, so I get
Right, right. As you do. Elias, what will you take away from your time on Star Trek Discovery that you'll apply to future projects?
Oh, what an interesting question. Well, okay, there's two parts for this. One would be what I learned doing the prosthetics, because I didn't realize how difficult it would be. I knew it would be tough, but I didn't realize. Like I thought the hours and getting up early and sitting there, that's going to be tough. That wasn't tough. That's I'm not the one working. They're working for 5 hours when I'm sitting there. That's tough for them. For me, I was like, I found places to sleep and stuff like that. But yeah, it was very funny. I was like, oh, hour two, I can sleep because I know they're only working on that. Um, and then where it was wearing it the further, like for 12 hours and trying to get the emotion through, and that was all challenging. So if I ever do another prosthetic role, I'll definitely take what I've learned from that. And the other thing was, and I've said this before in the press, but watching the way Sonequa handles herself as a number one on a show, and just being like, that's if I were ever a number one on a show, she would be a role model for me in that aspect. So this is how you treat people. This is how you I know she's a producer on the show, but even before she was, just being that the way she was, is just it's every actor should be that way. And that's what I would take from that show.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. What are you most proud of with your work as Locke?
I'm I don't know if it's proud, but I'm very happy that the emotion came through because
Mm,
that was my biggest worry. My
yeah.
biggest worry was getting through the makeup and making the connection with the audience. It's very easy to just like assume they're going to connect, but not actually have any real like emotional connection. And I was very happy with the episode 5 and the way it turned out. And from what I'm hearing, from what people tell me, is it got through, and their love comes through, and you feel empathy for the character, which is very difficult to do under all that prosthetic. And so that's I think I guess yeah, you can say that's what I'm the most proud of because I was the most worried about it. I was
Mm,
most worried about that coming through, and the fact that it did come through, it made me very happy, and I'm proud of the whole show, but I was very happy that that turned out.
yeah. That's so cool. That's so cool. And definitely I can tell it's hard to emote with all of that prosthesis
Yeah,
and you did a great job. So thank you.
thanks.
So you've now played two different characters in Star Trek Discovery, and you've voiced two characters in Star Trek Resurgence. If you were to appear in another Star Trek show, film, or video game again, what kind of character would you like to play?
I was thinking about this because because I'm not a big guy, but I'm like 5'11" and I'm muscular, and so I play a lot of brutes,
Mm,
and Locke is a brute. He's a big like brooding guy, and he's protective, So I think I would like to go the other way. I'd like to like play like a Ferengi or I don't know, like what's a race of like smaller like Ferengi is the only real small like weird.
Yeah.
I'll call Armin. I'll be like, give me advice on playing a weird Ferengi, something like that. Like something. If I would do it again, I would like to go another direction. Because even in Resurgence, like the guy I'm playing is a big, I have a deep voice, a big brutish guy.
Mhm.
So if I had to do, not had to, if I were asked to do Star Trek again, I mean, let me try something different. Let me try like a creepy Ferengi or something, like a Ferengi arms dealer. Yeah, something like that. That would be super fun.
World's tallest Ferengi. I love it. Very cool. Elias, I've got time for one more question. So, as a big Star Trek fan in your own right, tell me, who's your captain?
It's a good question. So it's split. I grew up in Montreal, literally on the same block that William Shatner grew up on. Like we grew up
Mm,
in the same neighborhood.
wow.
And so every time I see him, we talk about it. It's great. So he's always been my guy. But I love Cisco. Like I'm such a Cisco guy. So like I love Avery Brooks as an actor. I've never met him, but I love him as an actor.
Mm.
And I also I just love, you betrayed your uniform. Like, I just like, I love that stuff, right? So
Yeah.
I always love Cisco too. So it's kind of like personally, I have this connection to Shatner and Kirk because it's just he's always been there in my life. I can't think of a time I didn't know who Captain Kirk was in my life. But Cisco kind of really won me over in Deep Space Nine when he became captain.
Yeah. All great choices. Cisco's my husband's captain as well. So, yeah. Awesome. Elias, thank you so much for your time today. This was wonderful. I love
Thank you
your
so
shirt,
much,
by the
Ashley.
way.
Oh yeah, this is the Be Kind thing, Chase's thing, Chase Masters thing.
Awesome. Oh, very
Yeah.
cool. Very cool. I'm gonna have to get one.